And one call closing is the premise of you going into a cold meeting and selling that person your product in one meeting without additional follow-up meetings. This book is, pardon my French, but fucking awesome. I love this book.
Well, thank
I
you.
think it's the best in class for one call closing. You go into really deep how to ask questions properly. And in the book, there's one section that talks about trying to get a no when you're asking questions. And you give the example of, do you have a carpet? No. Do you have pets? No. Does anyone in your home have allergies? No. Do you have carpeted steps? Yes. And the reason you do that is so you can talk about a benefit-laden statement about their particular case. And I love that about this book. And it goes through so many different examples of that. And this is my little sales pitch for go buy this book because I love it. It's so good.
Can I tell you one thing about that?
Yeah.
The reason that is the purpose of that technique. A lot of people are going to read that and they're going to go, "That's cool." Now I know that you know more than this, but they're going to read that and they're going to go, "Okay, that's cool. It sounds like a cool thing." But here's why that's so important. It's that if you ask 10 questions, 10 qualifying questions, and each question is determining what you show them, and they say no, 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 they don't remember the no's.
Yep.
It's only until, like, let's say I'm selling vacuum cleaners. You know, do you have pets? No. Do you have allergies? No. Do you have linoleum, tile, hardwood floors? No. Do you have carpeted steps? No. Okay. Do you have? Let me think of another thing. Did you just replace your carpet? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, the reason I asked that, see, and now what happens is all those previous no's are forgotten. So it won't dawn on them, well, wait a minute, I just said no to all these questions. That means that, you know, only this one really applies, but you only want to never talk about what doesn't apply to them.
Right.
Never, never, never bring up, if you have a feature or a benefit or a technique or a strategy that does not apply to them, never mention it. Okay? Because if you say like, well, you get so many ads and we do this and this and this and this and this, and you're giving them 10 benefits and 4 of those benefits don't apply to them directly, okay? They think that's not for them because not everything applied to them. So now this doesn't apply to them. But if you only give them the 6 benefits that do apply to them, then everything about what you're saying applies to them. See, that is a perfect match for them. And that's one of the maybe 4 or 5 really key things that you got to do for them to buy from you, is they have to feel like your offer perfectly matches what they want.
Right.
Okay? Because if it doesn't, wherever the flaw is, wherever the disagreement is, wherever the thing where it doesn't match, that's where they're concentrating. They're, well, I don't need that part. Oh, well, now you're in, well, I guess we can, take that part out. Well, now you're in reducing the price. Now you've corroded your presentation. Now you're corroding your offer. And you don't want to do that because that always leads away from buying. That never leads to buying. It leads away from buying. So you want to make sure that what you're asking a bunch of questions so that you just want to know the answers. But as soon as you find something that applies, to them, great. And the reason I asked was, and then you do the thing. By the way, you know where I got that?
Nope.
What's it called? Cold readings. People that are psychic, where they're trying to convince you that they can read your mind and all that. That's where I got that. I read a book on that, and I thought, I'm going to use that. And it works just phenomenally well.
Interesting. All right. So my last question here before we wrap up is around what should someone do to get better at sales? Now, prior to asking that, you've got 4 main books: Sales Prospecting, One Call Closing, Selling Essentials, and Local Advertising Sales. What order do you rate those in, or what order should people be reading those books in?
Okay, that's a smart question. If it was me, if I was not me, and I was going to read my books, here's what the first one I would read is Sales Prospecting.
Okay.
And the reason is this: it's the easiest to learn.
Okay.
Cold calling, for example, easiest thing to learn is cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the hardest, it's the least exciting to do, but it's the easiest to learn. I can teach somebody to cold call in an hour, but like referrals, that takes that's a long seminar, my friend, learning how to do referrals. That's a whole sales presentation. That's almost like now you have two presentations, getting referrals and making the sale. But cold calling is a faster thing to do. So I would read the one on sales prospecting, first of all, because any product, it's not product specific, so any product you have, these methods will work, because everything in these books I've done. And I think there might be one or two things in there that I personally haven't done, that I say explicitly, I've not done this.
Mm-hmm.
I've had somebody call me with this, and it sounded good, but I've never done it. There's one or two like that. But all the major things, every script I give is exactly what I said.
Okay.
That's not altered in any way. It's exactly what I said when I'm talking to somebody for prospecting. So the sales prospecting book is probably the first. The one on one call closing is probably the second.
Okay.
And really that's like the second half of the sale. Prospecting is up until you're actually in front of them or you're on the phone and you've qualified and everything, and now you're going to do the presentation. Then one call closing takes you for everything after prospecting all the way through the presentation to building value to matching with them. Takes you all the way through the close, answering objections, everything. Takes you all the way through. I would do those. Those are the two main ones. Selling Advertising is a good book, probably, and I would read that too. Plus, they're only $3 each on Kindle. My gosh, for $9 you get three of them. And then Selling Local Advertising is a good book on that will apply. I would say 98% of it will apply to what you guys are doing.
Yep.
And the one on local online marketing, you don't really need that. That's my. Go ahead.
Selling Essentials was the fourth.
Selling Essentials. Okay. Here's what that is. So, in case you wondered, Selling Essentials. If they're brand new, somebody that you just hired, that book was designed for one thing and one thing only, to give to brand new people, because there are myths and prejudices and superstitions and wrong ideas that people have when they start off in sales. And you got to go, if you're a manager, you got to go through those things. You got to get rid of those things.
Yep.
And what this does is it cures them of these mistakes that they are intuitively going to make. Things that when you're brand new in sales you think are true that are not true. So you have to get away from certain ideas that are going to hurt you in your sales career, and that book gets rid of those mistakes. So if it's somebody that's brand new, but if you've been selling for like a year, selling anything doesn't make any difference what it is, that book probably won't apply to you much. If you read it, you'll just be nodding your head, going, yep, I did that, yep. Okay, but for a brand new person, it's eye-opening. See, for a brand new person, it's eye-opening. But if you're not a brand new person, you don't really need that book. The one on prospecting and closing are the two most important books, I would think.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. Well, this has been incredible. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
I appreciate that.
I'm a big fan of your books. I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. In the description of this video, I'm actually going to link to Claude's YouTube channel. It's got 100 videos on there, dozens of videos, 100 videos.
Sure. Mm-hmm. About 100, yeah.
And then I'm going to link to his Amazon page with all his books there. So I buy all the physical books because I like to hold books. But
yeah, me too.
You can't beat $2.99 for these books. They're incredible reads. I highly recommend them. I've talked about them a bunch in previous videos, so I'm a fan here. I want to thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate this conversation. I had a blast. Is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
No, you know what? I appreciate it very much. I just think that I've watched. I think great minds think alike. I've watched several of your videos, and everything you say, I'm listening. I'm thinking, this guy's either read the right books or he's done the right thing, because you seem to know what you're doing.
Awesome.
So I appreciate it.
Well,
I like watching people that know what they're doing.
Awesome.
And I can't wait to see some of the other interviews that you're going to be doing in the future. I'm sure you're going to be getting some other people that can really. I look forward to seeing those too.
Thank you.
Very much so.
I
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much, Claude.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye
right.
now, Ed.